to talk to us about a paper she's written entitled Islam, Intersectionality and Feminism. Hajar, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. It is an absolute delight to have you on air today.
Walaikum salam to Auntie Julie and to all your listeners.
Okay, the questions I want to ask you is how did you get here? But knowing your parents, it's that you're definitely a chip of the old block, are you not?
Shukran. Yes, I have to say my parents definitely influenced a lot of this, growing up in the environment and always being surrounded by the things that they're speaking about. It definitely influenced a lot, but also finding my own path along the way.
Absolutely. Look, you're a strong, young female, Muslim female, and you definitely are busy carving an identity for yourself. But we need to tell our viewers and listeners who exactly your parents are, because they are amazing people. Just tell us a little bit about your dad and a little bit about mom.
Okay, so my dad is Shahid Mathee, and he's a lecturer at UJ, but he's also a very big figure in the Muslim community, I'd say. He's a sheikh, and he used to do programs on Radio 786 in Cape Town. My mother, Hajar Ahjum, is she's busy with her PhD right now. She's also a very she's doing it in anthropology, and she's also a very big social scientist. So yeah.
MashaAllah. You're 17 years old. You're obviously in your matric year. What are you planning on studying, inshallah, next year and the years to come?
Well, I'm actually in grade 11 right now, but inshallah, I'm looking to go into the health sciences. It's something I'm very passionate about, learning bio and about the human body. So yeah, inshallah.
All right,
that's
so we have a doctor on our hands, inshallah. I thought you're going to say to me that you're going to become you're going to study international politics or some such thing. But okay, you do have the interest in that field in any event. The paper you've written, Islam, Intersectionality and Feminism, how did this all come about?
Well, I'm generally a very vocal activist within school, in my youth groups, in my community. I like to speak up about feminism and gender equality and all of that. And it's something that my English teacher noticed in class, because the second she puts up anything, I have a lot to say about it. And so she entered me for this competition, where the winners would get published in this journal, the top 25 essays. And it was about how youth should have a voice in these important social justice issues, because we're always kind of pushed to the side because we're just young, we don't really understand. And so I also wrote the paper around the time where the huge uprising of the gender-based violence in South Africa was going on. And so I couldn't do much besides protest or speak to my peers, and I never felt like any of it was enough. And so I wrote the paper, and I hope that it would get somewhere and it would do something and have some sort of impact.
What was the heart of the paper? What did you and how did you go about exploring? When you talk about intersectionality, what are you saying? Feminism, I know, is tied in with a whole GBV issue, I should imagine. But let's talk intersectionality. Are you talking about marginalization? Are you talking about separation? What exactly are you saying there? And give us a gist of what the paper actually reflected.
So intersectionality is about combining these many different parts of your identity. And I wanted to show how specifically being Muslim and growing up around this Islamic environment obviously affects my feminism and impacts the activism that I do and all of these different things that I'm advocating for. And so I wanted to show that I'm not just a feminist. I'm also a Muslim, and being and like studying all of these different things in Islam, I wanted to show how Islam also advocates for women's rights. And so I guess that's how the paper was born, because uh, in you aren't just a feminist, and I'm also not just a Muslim. I'm also a South African woman. I'm also Black. I'm many different things, and I just wanted to show everybody how it all comes together and it's all combined.
So, what was the responses to your paper? I know it was a competition. Did you win the competition? Where, or is that still coming up?
Well, I did win.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yes,
congratulations.
and that's how the paper got published. It's in this book over here,
Of course,
called Social
yes.
Justice Stories, and that's how the paper got published. Um, so yeah, the response was pretty big. I guess nobody really, because I have written papers before, but it doesn't really get out. It doesn't see a big audience, and so the response was pretty positive. I mean, a lot of my friends were like, "You write what?" So yeah, it was a really good
Do you
experience.
you obviously hear your parents and family members and the older generations in your family discuss issues around feminism, about gender-based violence, which is huge. I don't even want to be bold and say in Black and Asian communities, because that is not true. I think gender-based violence is what it is, and it plays out in any and every nationality for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Um, when you look at the Muslim community and us as Muslims, knowing what we've been taught, uh, you know, through the Holy Quran, we as women, our rights, how are you seeing your paper, Muslim women, and the whole issue around GBV playing out? Because a lot of that is happening in our communities. And voices like yours, I should imagine misogynists want and would want to clam up. They don't want to hear you talking. They don't
Yeah.
want to hear strong women's voices. And do you think in this day and age things are going to change? Going to change from your mom's time, your grandparents and great grandparents' time?
I think things are definitely changing. I mean, my generation, because we on social media a lot more things are getting out onto these bigger platforms where you can spread your voice a lot further. So I'm not what I share on my Instagram, for example, isn't just staying within my friend group. It can be going to America, it can be going to India, it can be going to the UK. So I think that's definitely an advantage that my generation has. Not to say that it's any easier per se, but I think we're definitely getting somewhere and going somewhere more. So yeah. Um, I guess we're also a lot more open-minded generation. So as compared to my grandparents, for example, I think I know a lot more. I hear about a lot more. I can accept a lot more and understand it better. And so I think that's definitely a great advantage.
My final question to you, in terms of gender based violence, we know it's playing out all around the world. And the moment women make their voices, women and men who are totally against GBV, it seems just when we're making the noises about it, we hear about more rapes and more deaths, which is
Yeah.
absolutely shocking. What do you believe that people like yourself, your generation, ought to be doing to stamp out GBV for once and for all, or just to be growing into a safer place going forward?
I think this whole idea of social media being a lot more prominent is very, very is a big advantage, because we are able to speak up more about it, so more people feel comfortable in coming out about it, in speaking about their experiences, and in speaking about what has happened to them, and in getting help in a way. So I think that's definitely something big, that we can help, that we can do. I think, of course, gender-based violence, unfortunately, it's never going to be completely gone, but we do want to make some sort of uh, impact, and at least decrease the levels sufficiently. So I
I
guess,
suppose it's about the socialization of our boy children, is it not?
yeah, definitely. And speaking up more about it. And also, like I said, because our generation is a lot more open-minded and a lot more educated about these things, we can also change the ways in which we bring up the boys, in a sense, and speaking up more about it will also help them to understand it, and understand why and what they should do, and how they can help, and etc. Yeah.
That's where I have to leave it. You're a breath of fresh air, and I have no doubt that people are going to be following you for a long time to
Shukran.
come. And I hope and pray there are many, many more Hajars out there that can start making their voices heard and to start changing the world. Salams to the family, and shukran very much for your time.
Shukran so much for having me.
My pleasure. It's 11:50 exactly, time for us to take an ad break, and then we will be joined by Shaheen Isup from Sahuk. Let's hear what's happening with the upcoming Umrah during the festive season.